You won't believe what secrets this old British 50-pence coin from 1982 is hiding. At first glance, it looks like just another worn-out pocket coin. But the moment you see its rare large size, the classic Britannia design, and the early portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, you realize this is no ordinary find. This coin carries a forgotten story from a time when Britain was changing fast, and some collectors in the US are now paying surprising prices for pieces exactly like this. The real mystery. You never know if the coin in your hand is just common, or a hidden error worth far more than you think. Welcome back to Numis Explorer. This 50-pence coin from 1982 may look like an ordinary piece of metal, but the moment you hold it in your hand, you immediately feel that it carries a story that stretches far beyond its simple shape. At first glance, people notice its unique seven-sided design, technically known as an equilateral curve heptagon, a shape that instantly separates it from almost every coin used around the world. But what most collectors, especially in the United States, don't realize is that this shape was originally created in 1969 as a revolutionary idea for easy identification inside vending machines, buses, and public transport systems across the UK. By the time the 1982 version of this coin was minted, it had already built a reputation for being a coin that symbolized modern British identity, and anyone finding it today is holding a small relic of that transformation era. When you flip the coin and look at the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, you're actually looking at a design by Arnold Machin, one of the most respected sculptors in British history. This portrait was used on British coins for more than 2 decades, and it represents the young, confident queen during the early years of her long reign. On the 1982 version, the inscription D.A.G. Reg. F. D means, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a traditional Latin phrase that has appeared on British coinage for centuries. Every curve of this portrait was created with such precision that even today, after years of circulation, the face still retains its sharpness, a testament to both craftsmanship and the durability of cupronickel metal. For collectors in the US, this portrait alone makes the coin historically attractive because it shows an era of Queen Elizabeth's life that was never captured on American coins, giving it a sense of foreign charm and historical weight. But it's the reverse design that truly gives this coin its iconic identity. Britannia sitting beside a lion, holding a trident in one hand and an olive branch in the other. This image is more than a patriotic symbol. Britannia is one of the oldest personifications of a nation in world history, appearing on coins since the Roman Empire. The lion symbolizes strength, the olive branch represents peace, and the trident shows maritime dominance, a reminder of Britain's powerful naval past. When this design was applied to the 50p coin, it became a daily reminder of centuries of British heritage, and the 1982 version marks one of the last traditional Britannia designs before modern commemorative themes took over. For anyone fascinated with symbols, mythology, or culture, this side of the coin is a complete story carved in metal point. One of the reasons collectors love coins from the early 1980s is because the UK was going through an era of change. Technology, economy, currency usage, and minting techniques were all evolving, but the 50-pence coin still held onto its classic identity. In 1982, the Royal Mint produced these coins in cupronickel, a silver-colored alloy that could survive decades of handling without losing its details. That is why even today, when you observe your coin, despite the toning marks and circulation wear, the Britannia figure and the Queen's portrait remain clearly visible. This durability makes the coin a perfect item for US collectors who enjoy finding pieces that have truly traveled through time without fading away. What makes the 1982 50-pence particularly interesting is that it was minted during a period when the coin still had its original large size. Many new collectors don't know this, but the 50p coin used to be significantly bigger than the version used today. In 1997, the Royal Mint reduced its size, meaning these earlier large-size coins are no longer produced and will never return to circulation. This makes your 1982 example part of the pre-small type era, a category increasingly sought after in numismatic markets. US collectors especially appreciate discontinued versions because they tell a clear before and after story, and the large 50p coins have become nostalgic reminders of what British currency once looked like. Even though the 1982 50-pence is not considered extremely rare, certain factors make specific pieces more collectible than others. Circulated examples like yours often show color changes and edge wear, but that's exactly what many collectors enjoy. Real circulation marks prove that the coin lived an actual journey through shops, streets, pockets, markets, and hands of people from a generation that existed more than 40 years ago. Some collectors in the US even prefer toned coins because they look more vintage, more historical, more real. And there is always the suspenseful possibility that a coin could carry a minting flaw, a die crack, a planchet error, or a misstrike, mistakes that can multiply its value overnight. If you look closely at the lettering, spacing, or alignment of the design on your coin, you might spot tiny imperfections. These small differences often fascinate coin hunters, because British large-size 50p error coins are becoming harder to find every year. Some collectors in the US are willing to pay surprising prices for errors such as off-center strikes, rotated dies, double rims, or weak strikes. Even though the majority of 1982 coins were perfectly produced, a very small fraction escaped the mint with defects. And that small fraction is exactly where the excitement lies, making every old 50p coin worth examining under proper light. Value-wise, the 1982 50 pence isn't a $1,000 coin, but its popularity has grown in recent years because of global interest in British currency and the massive collecting culture surrounding Queen Elizabeth II's era. Many US collectors now collect her portrait series year by year, and the 1982 coin is an essential piece in that timeline. In circulated condition, it often sells between a couple of dollars and $10 depending on the buyer, but special condition pieces or error pieces can rise higher. For someone building a British coin type set, this large-size Britannia 50p is a must-have center coin. Another fascinating thing about this coin is that it quietly represents everyday British life from the 1980s, an era with no smartphones, no digital payments, and a time when coins ruled daily transactions. People used these 50p pieces for bus tickets, grocery shopping, newspapers, school lunches, and small daily purchases. Holding a 1982 coin today is like holding a frozen piece of that lifestyle. Another detail that makes this 1982 large-size 50 pence coin even more fascinating is its connection to the Royal Mint's transformation era. During the early 1980s, the UK was modernizing its entire currency system, preparing for future redesigns and technological upgrades. Yet this coin still carries the classic Britannia design, which had been used for centuries and was considered a national emblem. Many collectors in the US don't realize that Britannia coins were slowly being phased out by the late 1990s, replaced by commemorative issues and modern symbolic designs. So the 1982 coin stands at the crossroads, old enough to belong to the traditional era, but modern enough to be part of recent history. This combination gives it a unique identity that newer coins simply cannot match. And the more you observe this piece, the more you understand why collectors feel an emotional bond with it. The slight discoloration, the aging tone, the worn edges, they are not flaws. They are signatures of time. In fact, many enthusiasts intentionally search for circulated examples because they feel more authentic, more believable, more connected to the lives of real people who use them daily. When a US collector holds a British coin like this, they're not just acquiring metal. They're holding a miniature time capsule. What adds even more excitement is the mystery of where this specific coin traveled before reaching you. A 50 pence coin from 1982 could have journeyed through decades of cultural events, political changes, and economic shifts. It might have been in someone's pocket during the Falklands War news broadcasts, spent in a shop during the rise of 1980s British pop culture, or carried by someone traveling abroad long before digital banking existed. Every nick, every mark, every scratch on its surface is a silent witness to moments that will never be repeated again. Imagine how many hands it passed through, how many stories it silently witnessed, and how many pockets it traveled inside before ending up in your collection. This emotional connection is something viewers love hearing in coin videos, especially US audiences who appreciate storytelling around foreign antiques. Finally, the most suspenseful and exciting part. You never truly know what journey your particular coin has lived. Did it ever cross borders? Was it carried by a traveler, a soldier, a collector, or a family migrating between countries? Did it belong to someone who saved it for years? Or was it simply a forgotten coin that resurfaced after decades? Every 1982 50 pence contains a hidden mystery because coins don't come with history books. They carry silent stories that only imagination can reveal. And that is exactly why collectors love them. Your coin isn't just metal. It's time, history, culture, identity, and mystery captured in a single 7-sided shape, making it a perfect piece to showcase on Numis Explorer.